Oh no, I have another controversial opinion about everyone's favorite movie this year. Let's talk about Anora. I waited a long time to do a review of Anora. I saw it several weeks back at Fantastic Fest because I was expecting to love it because everyone loved it. And I didn't. And I wanted to really think about why. To be clear, I did like this film. I did enjoy my time with it. I think that it is a very beautifully made film that does, as many people have pointed out, like harken back to like the golden age of Hollywood. And this film is a lot of things, and it does a lot of things very, very well. It's fun and funny and romantic and sad and very emotionally resonant. But the thing for me is just that I kept wondering why it wasn't sticking with me, why I wasn't thinking about it more, why it didn't affect me more. And I think that's because of the distinct lack of interiority for any of the characters. And I know that like some people would argue that that is a hallmark instead of a flaw that Sean Baker incorporates into nearly all of his films. But the thing is, and I'm not trying to say that you have to be completely aligned with the artists who make the art that you enjoy. I think that that would be an unrealistic expectation, even if it were like morally good or bad or had any kind of moral standing whatsoever. But when you look at a filmmaker like Sean Baker's politics, when you look at the kind of viewpoints that he seems to have, I do wonder what his motivation is for continuing to have the subjects of his film be impoverished people, be people who are marginalized on multiple different intersections, because his work seems to be intensely apolitical and like intentionally alienating and voyeuristic. Like, I just feel like this film doesn't really try to get to know who Annie is or what her circumstances are so much as it tries to be entertaining and non-intrusive. I think that Sean Baker has said that he intentionally tries to cultivate this like kind of documentarian kind of vibe where he's just observing the lives of these ordinary people as opposed to making any kind of commentary or like getting too personal. And it does seem like a nature documentary in that the person making this film is not a part of this world and can never fully understand it and is just watching without the full context. And I don't know, I feel like there's so much that I could relate to in Annie's story. And I mean, even just being a 23-year-old and believing in fairy tales. And I just felt like at the end of the day, she felt more shallowly written than I would have really liked. I feel like the story didn't give me what I wanted from it. And I understand that it's great that Sean Baker has focused on sex workers so much to kind of destigmatize them. But again, I wonder what the goal is. I saw a review that said something along the lines of Sean Baker never judges Anora for being a sex worker, but is that enough? And I'm really inclined to agree because I do think that that is the bare minimum. And this film doesn't seem to have any curiosity about the who or the why or the how. And I don't know. I just think that this is such an interesting character that I would have loved to know more about. Even just the fact that she doesn't seem to have any real friends or meaningful relationships with her colleagues feels weird to me. Ultimately, I do really enjoy this movie. I think it's beautiful and moving and fun. I just don't think it's the masterpiece that a lot of people are praising it to be. I do hope that Mikey Madison gets an Oscar nomination for this. She is incredible in it. Honestly, it's a wonderful cast. It's beautifully acted. It left me wanting a little bit. Of course, I'm happy for all the many people who loved it. I wish I was one of you. But that's just my honest take.